Do not be fooled into thinking progress has been made. There's a longer story than that. Where do I begin? Hello, welcome. My name's Tina, this is Simply in Stitches, the ongoing saga of the Drops sweater. This is the free pattern on the Drops website in Melody yarn, and it's called the Inverted Peaks sweater. I'll put a picture so you can see what it should look like. So, first of all, the neck still isn't sitting down. I pulled it right back to the cream part last week. It was very sticky. It's the alpacas really grip on because this is an alpaca blend yarn, and yeah, it's very furry and hairy. Let me so you can see it's very fluffy, this one. And so yeah, I wasn't enjoying it last time. I didn't feel I was following the pattern properly. I have since sorted that out, so I was following it much easier once I got my graph paper out and did a big graph of it and I just did it as I went. So each line I'd do it. So the top line was the line I was on, so that made it much easier to follow. Nothing hard about that. I was just making it look hard. So yes, the actual following the chart for the colour work, I was happy with that, but then I was still not happy with the fit, and you can see that it's just going to bunch up. And if I take it off, I will show you what I think my main problem is. So I've popped this on because it's quite chilly today. This isn't something I've knit. This is just a shop bought sweater dress that's so cosy and comfortable to wear, but I don't think I'll ever be actually knitting a sweater dress. That is just too much. That is too much knitting. So on this, as you see, that the shaping of it just comes down. There's no shoulders for it. It just comes down too much, and I've definitely done the right increases. So I just think it's just the wrong shape for a person, unless you've got no shoulders. So yeah, I'm just not happy at all. I split for the sleeves, and on one side I started to do the sleeves. I've gently encouraged it by giving it some tugs, and that's made it a bit looser. It was worse than that. I don't feel my colour work is too tight. I feel that's okay. I mean, there's plenty of stretch in it, but the trouble is, if you stretch it to pull it over, and then as soon as you start to move, that's why it starts coming up. So I know I'm never going to be happy with this. So I decided, even though I've been really impressed with myself, the way I've tried and tried with this one. A few years ago I wouldn't have done that. It would have been thrown into that wardrobe and forgotten about. But I do really like this yarn, and I love these colours together. I love how it's coming out. I'm done with that pattern. I'm completely done with that pattern. So I thought, right, what am I going to do with this yarn? Because I want to use it. So I thought, okay, what can I do that's going to be a guaranteed win for me? And I thought, I'm going to just do a flax with it. So I have cast on a Flax by Tincan knits. And so this is supposed to be a chunky yarn. The flax is an Aran weight yarn. The flax is an Aran weight jumper. So I had to do a test first of all to see if I can get gauge, and I can get gauge. I may have problems with the actual row count rather than the stitch gauge, but thankfully with the flax, when you come down and do the raglan, you not only have the stitch count with the increases, but you also have a measurement, so I can check I've got the right measurement for coming under the yarn before I split for those sleeves. So, and then it's just straight down the sleeves and the sweater, so there's no trouble there. So I think I'm onto a winner with this, and I really prefer how it looks on a 5mm needle rather than a 6. So the neckband is 4mm, then go into a 5. This is a free pattern. I've got a tutorial that I made a few years ago for the flax as well. But if you see that one, how messy it looks. And I know it'll probably look better blocking, but I just think already that just looks like a much nicer fabric, doesn't it? On there, if I can show you because it's all rolling up. But that's a much more even, looks like it's happier as it is. It's still got plenty of stretch in there, so it's not too tight. It's knitting up really nicely. I'm really enjoying this. So I'm going to follow what my plan was for that one and have the cream at the top. And then as I finish the cream, I've got 2 balls, so 100 grams of this cream. So as I get sort of about halfway through the second ball, then I'm going to use both of the colours to come down into using the turquoise then for the rest of the sleeves and the body. I'm going to need more yarn because obviously I'm doing it at a tighter gauge, and I'm doing a bigger size just in case there's anything of the how it is. I thought I'd go for a bigger size, and I have a, like see, I like a roomier jumper anyway now. I used to like more close fitting, but I've changed how I like them now. So yeah, I'm going for the bigger size, so it should fit nicely. So yes, I'm just doing those increases now, and I shall tell you about how I'm going to incorporate those 2 colours coming together when I get further down. So it has been frustrating to say the least, but I think I'm on the right track, and I'm definitely going to end up with a sweater in both of these yarns, and so I'm happy about that. And after following all that colour work, it's nice to just do the knitting and do the raglan increases. On the flax sweater, you have got that garter going down the sleeves. I'm not doing that because I just think with the 2 colours there's enough interest with that. I don't need the garter as well. I think it just make it look a bit like there's too much going on, where I just want it to be nice and simple. So that is how that project is coming along. The other projects I have are the mitts. So these are the Glinda mitts, and so I have finished one of them. I have gone further, I've made it longer. I said last time that the designer wanted hers to come so it wouldn't interfere with her rings, so she had hers down right down here. But I want maximum warmth, so I have gone for longer ones, so it's just underneath my little finger now there, and so I've gone longer with the thumb as well. I have been asked about the thumb increases here, and all you do, if I show you the other one, I can keep this on, can't I? So I'm knitting them on my 9-inch circulars. And so when you come to the increases to make this thumb section, as you can see from here, all the rest of it is just a tube, and then this is an added extra piece. So you do 2 of the repeats because there's 12 stitches in a pattern repeat, so 2 of those for the 24, and then you do a yarn over and start putting stitch markers in there, and then you start building up those stitches, so you will end up with yarn overs both sides. It starts off with the yarn over, and then you're just knitting those yarn overs, so you have 1 row of yarn over, not the whole row. I'm not saying this very well, I'm sorry. So you start with a yarn over, end with a yarn over, and then the knit stitches in between. Then the next row, when you come round, you'll knit the yarn over, so you're increasing every time. Then the next row you'll make yarn overs, next row knit across them, and that just gives you that thumb. And I did my thumb on DPNs. I really don't like deep ends, but it's so small it doesn't take long to do the thumb. And once again I extended it so it's just coming just under where my nail is on my thumb, and you do the same garter at the top of there. And so yeah, I'm really pleased how it's coming along. I've only got a smidgen of yarn left, so I'm hoping there's going to be enough because I've still got quite a bit of this to do. How much have I got? I've probably got about a good over a centimetre, another halfway, and the garter to do, and then carry on with the thumb. So I've got quite a bit to carry on with, but I did weigh it, and this was the Wendy Merino, and it was 50-gram ball, and this came to about 23 grams. So in theory I should have enough on here, so we shall see, fingers crossed. I think you're used to how it is now in this channel, aren't you? So yes, hopefully. If not, if the worst happens, then all I'll have to do is just take it back and make them shorter. So, which once again will be frustrating and annoying, but we're used to that round here, and we carry on one stitch at a time and we get there. So that's the knitting I've been doing. I'm going to have a quick little cross stitch section because people have asked if I'm cross stitching, and the answer is not a lot, but I always have a cross stitch on the go. Before my knitters leave me, there are going to be a couple of videos connected with knitting over the next couple of days, so look out for those. I'm sure you're going to enjoy them. Please remember to give me a thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video. That not only lets me know that you've enjoyed it, but it also lets YouTube know, and so it will offer you more of my videos in the future. So if you're a knitter, thank you, take care, see you soon. This week, well, last weekend, because it was Halloween, I was working on my Moons Out, Brooms Out from Autumn Lane Stitchery. And so this is how mine looks like. And so this time I've been doing letters, so I've got out there, and I was doing brooms here. So I really enjoyed that. It's nice to have something seasonal to enjoy doing the Halloween. So that is how it's looking. I've changed some of the colours to what I had. This fabric is by Fabric Flair, and it's a 28 count even weave, and it's called Dusky Sky, and it's a printed one, it's not hand dyed. So it's got the mottling on the front and it's plain on the back, but it also means that I can wash it. So if I get pumpkin soup on it, I can wash it off. Because all these threads as well are DMC, so they're washable. There's no hand-dyed threads on there. So that was my Halloween piece. And then the one that I'm going to be stitching on, a few stitches, as I say, it's mainly about the knitted, but the few stitches I do now till the end of November is going to be my Temple of Prophecy by, I should put it on the screen because I can't remember who it's by. But this is how it's looking. It's a mega one, this one. So I'm just using one colour thread, and it's the DMC. I'll put that on. I'm not organised, am I, with my cross stitch? So yeah, it's a variegated DMC, so it gives you a bit more interest. It's on just a plain fabric. I think this is 28 count, and it's just an oatmeal fabric. And I'm doing 2 threads over 2. So I'm down here at the moment. So I have I've put the year in already because I put 2022. I know I'm not going to finish it this year. What else have I done? I've got my initials over here. So I've got TCL there for the initials. And, oh, where's the chart? Okay, so I brought my project bag over. This is one I just made. So, yeah, it's got a bit of lace on there. And it's just got a dark red inside. How I make my bags, I've got a video for how I make my bags, because I make them like this with a zip, and it just means that I can use them for my cross stitch or my knitting. And when I'm not using them, because I like to have seasonal ones and things, I can just put them flat if they're empty or if they've got something in them in my drawer, and then they're easy to flick through and find one that I want. So that is my bag. But what I was going to say with this chart as well, because we lost our queen this year, and so I was looking for where I could have thought this is the perfect piece to put something on there to commemorate that. So I thought the best place on there to put it is to put where it's got a crown and a horse down here. I thought I'm going to miss off that owl, and then I'm going to put the Queen's dates just to honour her reign on this piece as well, because that's something else that's very significant that has happened, sadly. So it's the Temple of Prophecy, and it's by Long Dog Samplers. So yes, a huge piece that I don't mind when it's finished. It's just really nice to stitch, being just one thread. It is just a really nice one to stitch on, and having the different colour threads, different tones. I try and be clever with it, but if it doesn't work out how I think, then I don't worry. You can see that some parts I've done brighter, and some parts I've tried to do darker, just so they pop out a little bit more. So yeah, that is what's happening in my cross stitch world. So that's all that I'm going to be working on in the coming weeks, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, have a lovely weekend. Bye.